None of them. 0 bits. Did you make it okay? Kind of hard to do when you're in the middle of a training. It was a great session. Tina Marie Wofield and I went down to Hotlanta and spent some time with a client of ours and taught them all about executive leadership communications. It was fire, straight fire, great time, well received. Everybody enjoyed themselves. We got some really rave reviews from people that I certainly did not expect to get rave reviews from. But, that's the power of being good at what you do. I love that stuff, man. Love, love, love being able to interact with people in real time, face to face, in their space. It was super dope. It was super dope. And Tina Marie is an amazing facilitator, makes you have to up your game, which is pretty awesome. And, it was wild to me. We spent the flight down there, got there the night before, and we're doing the training starting at 9 a.m. on a Monday. And then we did another session on Tuesday. But it was incredible to me that we spent zero time talking about the flow of the presentation, how it was going to go. I mean, we built the deck together, right, and shared notes on it, but we didn't talk about how we were going to do it. Just topped up and did the thing. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome. If you're looking for some leadership training, some communications training, some change management training, and we threw in a little behavioral analysis training. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, see post from yesterday. It was cool, man. It was cool, and we would love to come visit your organization and bring the goods to you. So that was dope. That said, that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is how to get more engagement on your posts. And so, my number one rule for getting more engagement, super simple. Be more engaged. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. One of the things I see a lot of folks doing is putting content out and getting some reactions, getting some comments, and then never responding again. It's like they post and ghost. Don't do that. Don't be the post and ghost guy. And I'm going to use guy, and I'm going to tell you it's an acronym. It stands for gender undetermined yet. So, guy can encompass all the genders. Guy, gender undetermined yet. So not just boys. And I think it's really, really important to not post and ghost. And because I've never used the phrase post and ghost before, I'm going to say it a lot today because it rhymes, it's poetic, it's true, and it's something you shouldn't do. So, all good stuff. So, number one rule is engage more, especially on the content you share. So let's say you get some people posting comments on your original post. Don't leave them hanging. Even better, go back in and comment with a question. Why would you put a question? Well, because they're likely to answer. And so, as they go back and answer the question, that adds more comments to your original post. And the algorithm sees that as engagement. And when they see engaging posts, they kick it up in the algorithm so more people see it. And ultimately, what's the point of posting if more people aren't going to see it? So, step one, engage more. And you can do that right on your own wall. And this is true for LinkedIn, but it's also true for Facebook or Instagram. It's probably true for X, formerly known as Twitter. Gotta call it X, formerly known as Twitter from now on. Can't just call it Twitter anymore. It's not Twitter. Although, do we tweet still? I'm confused by that. That's a question. If anybody's got an answer, drop it in the comments. Um, so that's one, engage more. Number two is engage more on other people's stuff. So the rule I have is called the 555 rule. And the 555 rule is simple. It's spend 5 minutes finding 5 posts that you can drop a comment on at least 5 words and do that every single day. right? Find the 5 minutes in the morning or in the early afternoon, whenever, sooner the better in the start of the day, and go find 5 comments. And here's what I'll tell you for sure: the single most driver of traffic to my LinkedIn profile in the it'll be 19 years on Thanksgiving Day. I will have been on LinkedIn. No, on Friday, excuse me. On Friday, I will have been on LinkedIn for 19 years. And the single biggest driver of traffic to my profile was when I left a reasonably insightful comment on one of those super influencer type people's page. And that individual actually responded to my comment because I probably asked him a question that he felt the need to respond to. And that single comment got me 230 views on my profile in about a 28-hour period. And that's like, I haven't seen numbers like that since or before. It was incredible. Why? Because insightful comments create intrigue. They create interest. They bring people to you that may not see you ever before. Right. So all of a sudden, now a bunch of people are checking me out. A bunch of people are following me. It was cool. I wish I could duplicate that, and I'll try every single day. So drop some insightful comments. 5 minutes, right? That's nothing. And you can probably do it in two if you're quick about it. Um, why 5 words? Well, because that's like the minimum for the algorithm to see what you're doing. So you don't want to just say nice post. You could say this is a nice post, right? But do better than that, right? Do better than that. Tell them why it was a nice post. Tell them what it made you think, what it made you feel, what it may make you do differently moving forward. Explain why it resonated. And if you do that, or again, ask a question, um, you're going to get a little more attraction. You're going to get a little more engagement. You're going to build a different audience. So, 5-5-5 rule. Apply it now. Next set of advice is content. What are you putting out there? And so often people do kind of the same thing every single day. There, maybe you're posting an image and you're not sharing thoughts about it, or you are sharing your thoughts about it, but you're doing that same thing every single day. And if you already have a large audience that's engaging with you, that stuff works. But to build an audience, that's not the way to do it, especially when that image is about you. And I mean, not necessarily like the image is about you, but it's just about what you're doing. If you're always talking about buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, people will tune you out. I just read an article that was shared by my friend Dale Royal from Forbes magazine talking about how LinkedIn has officially changed their algorithm yet again, and what they're prioritizing is different than what they used to. And so, we got to a point in the last couple of years, some of you have noticed this, that LinkedIn turned into Facebook, right? Everybody's posting the same rah rah stuff or motivational, inspirational stuff. And not that those things are bad, but if that's like your one trick and you're a pony, that's not going to be enough. So you want to vary your content. I use a very simple framework, and I've posted videos about this on Beans Bits, or what was it? Try Bean on the 10 spot before, and it was the four-piece framework, and I always refer to it as you be the shit on the socials, and shit was an acronym for story selling, humor, inspiration, and truth. So that's your framework. And humor and inspiration are really good to attract an audience and engage an audience. Even on LinkedIn, you can be funny if that's part of your brand promise. But if you're not funny, don't try and be funny. That doesn't necessarily work. In fact, the whole phrase try and be funny doesn't work, right? It's a non existent thing. So you have to either be funny or not be funny. Inspiration's relatively easy, though. I mean, it's so quick and easy to go and find a quote that really inspires you and moves you into action. Take that quote, drop it on an image inside a Canva. Maybe it's a sunset or a sunrise or the ocean or, beautiful scenery or beautiful people or whatever. And drop that quote, and boom, now you've got a cute little meme that inspires, and you can share that right on LinkedIn. So I'm a big fan of that. Truth is the idea that you're telling us about you. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's your family, maybe it's a certification you received, an award you won, an accomplishment you had. Maybe it's something you did on the weekend, whatever the case may be. Those things that are about you and your business, industry news falls under truth. Those things are real helpful. And the last one is story selling, right? So instead of storytelling, it's you're telling people what you did, who you did it for, why it mattered to them, what the results were. And that can be a real powerful thing. Testimonials work under story selling. The beautiful thing about story selling is when you're involved with multiple people, multiple companies, you can tag all of those, and that increases your reach. And hopefully, the people that are tagged will come in and say something about it. Don't be the person that ends up tagging 37 randos. Nobody likes to be tagged in those, although they'll say thank you for tagging me because people are polite. But that's not a great way to build reach. The people that are dropping 87 different names and 3 different, 4 different, 5 different comments in the bottom, that's a weird thing. If you're going to do that, make sure that the people you're tagging are at least relevant to the idea you're sharing, right? Don't put people in a position where they're like outside of their realm of expertise. So that's the 4-piece framework: how to be the shit on the socials, or use the hits on the socials if I want to be politically correct and polite. I have clients that sometimes want the hits, not the shit. And so those things really, really work. The other thing is, look at the format of what you're posting. Is it an image? Great, that's fine. You can do that once in a while. Are you writing long form posts? Right? You have 1,300 characters to fill up in a status update on LinkedIn. 1,300. I mean, that's not a lot, but it isn't a little either. You can tell a pretty good story in 1,300 characters. And if you do that, you don't have to even attach an image, right? If you can get people to read what you're talking about, that's awesome. You're gonna want to make sure that you've got a strong opener, right? Big headline, and make sure that your points line up with the headline, and then have some level of call to action. Tell us what you want us to feel, or what you want us to think, or what you want us to do as a result. The more you can do that, the better off you are. So long form is really good. Video is still super prioritized. Here's the rub, though, and this is important for a lot of different things. You don't want to put video up that drives people to a different page, to a different site. So, for instance, sharing a YouTube video, and I tested this just the other day. I posted my TEDx talk, but I shared it from my YouTube as opposed to uploading it natively into LinkedIn. And one of the key metrics for all these social media sites is time on site. How long are people staying? So if you're sharing an article from Forbes or Business Week or wherever that takes people off the site, they're not going to show that to as many people as if you were to drop that link in the comments below. That changes it, right? That initial post shouldn't have links that take people away from the site, because they do not prioritize that content at all. At all. In fact, they downgrade it. So get in the habit of not doing that. I see a lot of people will share links and they'll just share the link. They won't even talk about why the link matters, right? So when you're sharing stuff, and regardless if you're sharing links that go out, don't do that. But if you are, at least tell us why you're sharing it. Tell us why it mattered to you, or why you think it matters to us. Give some context around it. For years, we've been saying content is king, content is king, content is king. Well, you know what? Content is played out these days. Everybody's a content creator. So we got to think about it from a different perspective. So context is the new king, right? Content, done. Context. Why does it matter? And specifically, why does it matter to us is what you should be focused on. The last thing that I would tell you is, and I think I mentioned the importance of video, but you definitely want to have video inside of your content mix because, again, it keeps people fixated and people stick around, and that's what they want to see on the LinkedIn. So, those are some thoughts that I've shared in training and coaching and now with you to be able to help you increase your level of engagement. So, to recap, definitely don't post and ghost. Comment on your own stuff. Right? I'm never understood why people like their own stuff, but somebody once explained it to me as like, if I expect you to like it, shouldn't I like it? Yeah, all right, I see the logic there. But you want to comment back when people are commenting. And for me, I like to spread those comments out. So if I get 10 comments on a post, I may comment to two or three of them and then go back a couple hours later and comment to two or three more, and then go back 6 hours after that and comment to the other three. And each time I do that, it kicks it back up in the feed so more people are seeing it. So it extends the life of the post from like 1 hour to maybe 24 hours. So you can absolutely try that and let me know how that works. Um, I think that's it. I think these are the big ideas to how to increase engagement. And I was doing the recap, so don't post and ghost, comment on your stuff, do the 555 rule, follow the hits on the social humor, inspiration, truth, and story selling, and mix up the type of content you're sharing. Long form writing, images, video, infographics if you can make them. Canva is a powerful tool, man. They got templates that everybody can look like a decent designer. Not a great designer, right? They're not replacing designers, but they'll make you feel more capable of design work. I know they've done that for me. And so mix it up. And then tag people appropriately and companies appropriately because that'll help you get more reach and more visibility. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this Beans Bits of 11/21. Woo, 11/21. That's 3 days after my birthday, y'all. What do y'all think of that? Pretty cool. All right. I will see you next Tuesday, 11/28 at 10 a.m. In the meantime, have a very happy Thanksgiving to those of you who are celebrating, and I wish you all the things to be grateful for. I'm grateful for you. I'll see you soon.